mystic moons. Today we're going to go and explore the question of David Wilcock, a man who has been quite prominent in, well, we could say paranormal circles, non-mainstream news sources. He's a ufologist who has been lobbying for disclosure, exploring various types of truth to be known, and also too, well, he's been sharing his work, his beliefs, his progress, what he's found out through various platforms over the years. Everything from like Coast to Coast, for instance. He's been on several things with, well, etc. Sometimes, you just get distracted when you are dealing with things, and I have 4 cats running around behind me. Anyway, David Wilcock has been on everything from Coast to Coast to various contributors to the Alex Jones Network, like Mike Adams. I believe that he has, he's also been on the History Channel too, Ancient Aliens. Anyway, I posted a few little details in the description, which you can go and check out. But the idea here that we want to investigate, David Wilcox apparently committed suicide a few days ago. And he's made it quite clear before that he's not suicidal. He loves life. He loves God. He also, and that he's committed to living the beauty of life. He also, not too long ago, made reference about all the scientists that are either been murdered or gone missing. With David Wilcox, it makes it about 12 people who have been active in the field of physics, and I guess doing research that is not particularly appreciated. So let's go and find out. Did David Wilcox, was he suicided? Was he killed? Or was that in fact something that was based on his own natural, honest volition? Let's find out. David Wilcox. David Wilcox, I have a 9 of Pentacles with the Sun. I didn't really read too much into the case. Sometimes I don't. I just get the bare essentials before investigating. Sometimes it's a little different. One, they did say that in the call, the 911 call, that he was by himself, or that there was no other threat that he presented, so they say, to others. It's interesting with the 9s coming up here, that 9s typically are solitary energy, but also too, this shows me that the acclaim that David Wilcox had was undeniable to everyone. And I would say that also putting himself out in the public light, being an advocate, being someone who you can actively link to to UFOs, and he also spoke about secret societies. He spoke about information suppression, all those sorts of things. And he got a lot of attention for it. He was known as someone who would continually investigate and bring things up to it. He wasn't afraid of putting his name out there, putting his face up there, putting his beliefs up there, putting his research up there. He wasn't afraid of being a spokesman. And I would say more than anything, David Wilcox caught attention in this matter because of his prominence, his visibility, and that he definitely was not going to quiet down. One could also see in this energy as well, there's a lot of pride. David Wilcox had a lot of pride in who he was committed to be and following through on that path. This is something that he completely believed in with all his heart. And also, too, I would say that his work, his research, fueled the beauty of life for him, made life worth living. So it's very vibrant energy here. Very proud energy here, rightfully so. It's energy also, too, with the 9 energies. Pride and achievement that's earned. It wasn't easy, but still stuck through it. So I consider all that quite interesting. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to go and say here. I think that's about it. I will say that's interesting as well. Not only do we have the number of 9s, but the sun is 19. And then we have 1. Although I do think this is really about making an example of a spokesperson in this energy of 9s and 1s. Leadership and ability, not afraid to separate oneself from the crowd. Also, too, really competent energy here. And we can also say stubborn energy. I don't know who spoke to David Wilcox over the course of his career, who he dealt with, but nothing could shake his convictions in this energy. Okay, that's who, first of all, we're dealing with, a very strong individual, another 9 and a 10. Definitely didn't like his influence. Influence was not appreciated. His unwillingness, we could say, to compromise. His unwillingness to compromise. People did not like. Also, too, very energetic energy, if I didn't mention that as well. Very driven, very passionate, very dedicated energy. Not at all the energy of somebody who feels like life is getting him down. So bottom of the deck energy, I have 5 of Wands. I have to look a little further in here. Strength, the World, 5 of Wands, Moon, Temperance. Well, first of all, in this energy, David Wilcox was not a quitter. Not a quitter. I feel like I want to say, too, that he was not someone who compromised on what he believed in. And also, too, in this energy, always raising the bar. He definitely believed in the work that he was doing. He believed in the work for the collection of humanity, the growth of our societies. And one could say in this energy, he sacrificed a lot, or he definitely made not some great friends in this energy, which I think is primarily just because, he was so committed to a high moral fiber. And also, too, in this energy, David Wilcox was somebody who, rather than work with things like, let's say through other people, David Wilcox put out energy for it. He actively lobbied for it. He just wasn't a think tank, or he just didn't inspire. He went out there and he actually exerted himself in all the ways he could. So 9 of Pentacles clarified by whatever that is, time. Wheel of Fortune, 7 of Swords, and High Priestess. It's just a matter of time. There's 2 things going on here. One, it was just a matter of time. And also, 2, waiting for the right opportunity. I also feel like in this energy, David Wilcox was approaching a truth. Maybe the word approaching a truth is the wrong word. He was acquiring something. David Wilcox was acquiring something. And I wonder what he was working on, or what he was investigating, what he was involved in. Because in this energy, we're talking about somebody waiting for the right opportunity to act. And we're also talking about coming closer to a goal, acquiring something that has been after all the time, getting some, progressing, especially we could say in his field of ufology and the concept of what truths are accurate, what truths really are truths, the delineation between the two. He was very close to obtaining something, to sharing something, to utilizing something. There's something else I was going to say here. Oh, yes. First of all, to his question of, or to the question, did he commit suicide? Was he suicided? Oh, he did not kill himself. No doubt. Okay, he had huge, huge, huge vibrancy for life, very high vibrations, at least towards his work. I don't know about his professional, I don't know about his private life or whatnot. We're not looking at that, right? That's not the point of this reading. I don't know about his professional life, but I can say with his career and his life path, he's professional. Did I say professional? I don't know about his private life, right? Like, for instance, what was going on there? I didn't research it. I am not looking. That's not the point of this reading. But I can say with his professional life, David Wilcox conducted himself with the highest moral fiber to him. Really high values from this man. I just want to get that clear. No way did he suicide himself. No way. But I can also say in this energy, he definitely got on the radar of everybody who he could possibly gain the attention of. Whoever perhaps David Wilcox would have preferred not to deal with, they knew about him quite well. All eyes have been on David Wilcox, regardless of people, non-human beings, human beings from humanoid beings, whatever you want to call them. I don't care what kind of life forms that breathe and think and feel. But David Wilcox was on everybody's radar in this energy. And I think in this energy too, he didn't care, right? It was all about pursuing the truth and getting some clarity out there. So let's go and find out some more. Let's check out Seven of Swords first. Seven of Swords. I have a 10 of Swords. King of Cups. And Judgment. Five of Swords coming under here. Well, first of all, with Five of Swords, Seven of Swords, that does play into some Aquarian energy. Definitely, it's already been mentioned several times in just the energy I'm pulling out here, his public outreach and his ability to at least raise questions for, do I say the average person or just our society as a whole? I feel like I don't want to really use generalities like the average person or the above average, the below average. I just want to say our society. And David Wilcox, do I say he had a gift? We could say he had influence. David Wilcox had influence enough to inspire our society to open up to questions that normally we would not be inclined to ask. Normally, we would not be inclined to think. So first of all, in this energy, Seven of Swords, 10 of Swords, King of Cups, and Judgment. Well, first of all, it's a little bit too like he enjoyed his work too much. He had to, his ability to deliver messages was very relatable to society. Right? That's a gift. We could say that was a gift that he had, his ability to communicate or to go and bring attention, make things digestible, understandable. He was good at that. He enjoyed doing that. He was too good at that, too good at being a spokesman. Also, in this energy, it looks like he had lots of fans, lots of affinity. People warmed up to him. Of course, not surprising with the energy that I have, as I said, high moral fiber, at least towards his profession, highest. This is someone you could not bribe, you could not buy, you could not taint. He was beyond that. With High Priestess. High Priestess is clarified by Three of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, and Death. Nine of Cups, another 9 coming up here. Well, first of all, in this energy, the ideas David Wilcox spread, not appreciated. And the enemies David Wilcox made got a little obsessed about him to go and win over him, turned into a personal, what's the right word, achievement, would turn into a personal achievement for him. He had some people that were obsessed with him. They definitely didn't like the ideas that he put out into people. They didn't like the visibility also too he shared with others. They didn't like the highlights he gave to society. High Priestess clarified by Three of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, and Death. I do think, and maybe this is something for another reading, I do think that David Wilcox was not far away from bringing something out to us. Something tangible, something that would not take that long to do. He was, do I say too close to the truth? He was about to utilize the truth. He was too close to bringing proof, too close to making a big change, too close to bringing something that was secret out. And in this energy too, David Wilcox continually has been bringing the truth out, but he was about to bring something out larger. I wonder what that was. Something that would change everything, something that would change everything. Hard, undeniable proof was coming to him, about to arrive to him. Something he could share, and something he would share. Wheel of Fortune, I have Justice. Six of Pentacles and Three of Cups. Bottom of the deck energy. 10, so we have some 10s in here. 10s are, well, I mentioned that because when we started out, right, we had 9s and 1s. Also, too, the power of the force that one person can go and impact, or the visibility and force that one person can create. 10s go down to 1. Also, too, with Justice, we could take Justice as 11. 1s also 2. We have some 2s in here with Judgment, High Priestess. Another 10 with 10 of Swords. We'll get into the numerology a little bit. David Wilcox, I'll say once more, had no intention of dying. His whole mission in life was to go and bring forth the truth. And also, too, what made him happiest was sharing the truth, sharing what he learned with others. Thank you for the like. Yes, if you appreciate my time and energy, do give me a like. But I don't know, as I said, just really, we lost someone special. What more can I say than the energy that I have here? He really devoted his career to our society, and our society becoming better united. And he really did have 100% no intention of killing himself. He had a beautiful energy dedicated to the work he did. He did that work to go and serve the society, our society that he lives in, or he lived in. And he wanted to elevate us as a whole. Really, really beautiful energy here. Very special soul. I do think that something was coming into his hands that they didn't want. And I also think that as well, in this energy, David Wilcox caught the attention of everybody who you could catch the attention of. And maybe that was the point, right? I mean, he was on TV, he was on the radio, he published, you could meet him at conventions. You know, he made no, he was there present every way that he could be to go and spread the message forward. And he definitely caught the eyes of many, 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 I'll just use the word people. And with what he shared, he had no filter of what he would share and what he wouldn't share. If it was the truth, David Wilcox would share it. Anything beneficial that he knew, he would make sure that we knew. In this energy, I don't know whether I should say to listen to his interviews, read his articles, watch his lectures. I do know that something was on the way to him. But it probably wasn't ready yet to be shared, especially with that Three of Wands. Wasn't ready yet. Didn't have all the facts yet, wasn't completely grounded. I'll also say too with David Wilcox in this energy, have an open mind when you listen to what he says, because in this energy, maybe I don't know so much about the early years, but I can say that with a mature energy, let's say the mature David Wilcox would not say anything that he didn't have, he wasn't assured of himself, right? He wasn't there saying, you know, he has purple bunnies on his feet. The moon is made of jello. You know, the next door neighbor is a shapeshifter. Unless it was actually true. And I mean, not true in his mind, I mean factually true. David Wilcox, everything that he shared, he made sure it was true. And that was the only thing that was pausing him on the latest bit of information he was researching. He was waiting for the concrete proof. Anyway, so that is my reading on David Wilcox. Very sad. I haven't done any readings on the other 11 scientists that passed away. I do know that there's some a PhD in Texas who works on anti-gravity, and he is very active on his Twitter account saying that he's been warned that he could be murdered soon. I don't know if it's proper to do a reading on that. It seems a little morbid, and you know, I don't necessarily go after morbid things, informative things, but not morbid things. But I mean, he's aware. So I'm sure he's making preparations, right? But anyway, you can go and listen to or watch some of the things on his X account, rather. Quite some interesting things he's sharing there. And as I said with David Wilcox, I would definitely go back and listen to his what he said. And send a little prayer off to him, because he did not kill himself. He did not want to die. And he had a high moral fiber. Thank you for your time. I'll leave this up for a little bit. Till next time.